All right, welcome to The Explainer. And today, oh man, do I have a story for you. It's all about a simple misunderstanding that, well, let's just say it had some very, very unexpected consequences. This is a tale of good intentions, the absolute wrong kind of bank, and one man's accidental shot at immortality.
And boom, there it is, the punchline, right at the top, from a wife who just had her entire world turned upside down. But the best part of this story, for sure, is how we even got to this point. So let's hit rewind and break it all down.
So, to really get what's going on here, you gotta meet the man at the center of it all. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Harold. Harold is that classic old head from the neighborhood. You know the type. He's 63, keeps his beard looking sharp, and he's still rocking the same Kangol hat he bought back in '92. And he is super proud of being a universal blood donor. For decades, giving blood hasn't just been a good deed, it's been his thing.
So you can imagine when Harold sees this flyer in a corner store window, donate today, help save lives, his brain immediately goes to one place, donating blood. It's what he does. It's his civic duty. So he rolls up to this clinic on Ford Road, feeling all confident, ready to do his part. But the second he walks in the door, you can just tell something feels a little off. This is literally what he says to the nurse when she calls his name. He just belts it out, full of pride and completely, totally oblivious, ready to roll up that sleeve. You can just picture the look on that nurse's face. Now, this wasn't the bright, sterile room Harold was used to. The nurse takes him back to this place with dim lights, a comfy reclining chair, a box of tissues. Yeah, this is not the blood bank he remembers. At this point, Harold's getting a little antsy. He's like, look, I'm here to do a job. Where's the needle? Where's the bag? Let's get the show on the road. Meanwhile, the nurse, Kayla, is trying her absolute best not to laugh before she has to gently break the news to him.
And there it is. That's the sentence. The one that stops Harold dead in his tracks. The moment where that whole needle and bag fantasy just pops, and a very, very different reality starts to sink in.
Yeah, this is pretty much the only thing that could be going through his mind right now. And you can just feel the gears grinding in his head. Oh, shit. And suddenly it all makes a terrible kind of sense. The word lighting, the interesting magazines on the table, the sign about scented lotions. Oh no. So after that initial wave of oh crap washes over him, Harold's at a crossroads. He can walk out of there totally embarrassed, or he can lean into it. And you know, his pride, and let's be real, the part on the flyer about quick cash, convinced him to stay. So about that quick and easy part on the flyer, that turned out to be, let's say, a bit of an exaggeration. Harold was about to run a marathon he didn't even know he'd signed up for. An hour and a half. That's right, 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's how long our 63-year-old hero was in that room. Let's just say this took a little more out of him than the usual needle prick. So he finally shuffles out of the room, right? He's sweaty, he looks completely wiped out. And just to add insult to injury, the receptionist basically announces his departure to the entire waiting room. His walk of shame just went public. You can just hear him muttering under his breath as he stumbles outside into the fresh air. Could have at least given me a Gatorade or something. And right then, he makes a pact with himself. Nobody will ever, ever hear about what just happened. Famous last words, right? Because that secret, it had a shelf life of about a few hours. All thanks to one little phone call to his wife, Marvel. Okay, so picture this. While Harold is practically in a coma on the couch recovering, his wife Marvel is on the phone with her friend complaining about how tired he looks after just donating blood. She has absolutely no clue what really went down. And right in the middle of this conversation, the house phone rings. Marvel picks it up, and a very professional voice on the other end says, "Yes, this is Carla from Shoot Them Here Sperm Bank." Just imagine the dead silence on Marvel's end of the line. And then Carla delivers this message. It's kind of clinical, a little weird, but also crystal clear. His fish are swimming upstream. And with that, she hangs up. Marvel is just left there. Phone in hand, world completely shattered. The secret is officially out. And that, of course, leads us to the inevitable confrontation and, well, the beginning of a whole new legacy. So Marvel, after getting the unbelievable story confirmed,
She doesn't freak out. Nope, she's calm. She waits for Harold to wake up from his nap. And when he does, she just lays it out for him. No yelling, just the facts. And all of Harold's stories about the broken AC at the blood bank just evaporate into thin air. But just when you think it can't get any funnier, Marvel's friend Charlotte calls back. Marvel puts her on speakerphone, and this quiet marital dispute instantly explodes into a three-way insult comedy show. It is an all-out roast session. So once the smoke clears and the insults stop flying, there's really only one question left. Marvel just has to know why. Why on earth would you, at 63 years old, go and do this? And this, my friends, is where Harold pulls off the greatest pivot of all time. He's been caught, he's been roasted, but does he fold? No. He puffs out his chest, looks his wife dead in the eye, and rebrands his massive blunder as a noble act of legacy building. It is without a doubt a legendary move. And that's how the story leaves us. Harold managed to turn an embarrassing mistake into this grand mission. But it really leaves you wondering, right? What happens to Harold's legacy now? We're just left to imagine the future little Harolds out there, all thanks to a confusing flyer and a man who just wanted to do a little good in the world.